Hello everyone, and welcome to Adobe Live. Hello. The greatest duo right here to end the day. Welcome to Adobe MAX 2023 Adobe Live here in Los Angeles. Thank you for joining us. I am so excited to be joined by my wonderful wife, keynote speaker, Photoshop extraordinaire, just incredible digital artist, Anna McNaught. Hello, Anna. Welcome to the stream today.
Hello, James. It's nice to see you.
Very nice to meet you. We'll have to chat after, but to those that are joining us, before we get started with some incredible Firefly and Photoshop tutorials, tips, just having a lot of fun here today. Make sure to follow along in the chat if you're joining us for the first time. Make sure to follow Adobe Live on YouTube, Behance, all the socials, Instagram, you know where to find us. And if you're here in the show, come on and stop by after we finish up today. Yes. That being said, why don't we give you the floor, a little quick intro. For those who do not know who you are, which it would be very surprising at this point, and a little bit about what you do and what we're getting into today.
Okay, sounds good. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. It's very different doing a live stream really with like a whole room around us and different things going on. So
a lot of sound.
My ADD is going to get the best of me during this. It's going to be quite difficult. But thank you so much again for being here. My name is Anna McNaught, and I am a Photoshop artist, a designer, photographer, traveler. This is my incredible husband and best friend and design buddy. We do all the things together. So I'm so excited to show you some of the new things going on in Photoshop and Firefly today. And I'm thinking about showing a little bit of stuff from the keynote and kick us off with what I showed yesterday. Hopefully you're not bored of that. Maybe you saw it already, but we can get into some questions, and then we'll do some Firefly, and then we'll build a few things from scratch.
Perfect. I think it's amazing that we're going to dive into this a little bit more. I mean, we've both been talking about this. I think just the vibes and the energy are so high here at Max. Hopefully for those that are watching at home and are not able to be a part of this, have learned a lot in a short amount of time and are taking things away. So yeah, why don't we hop in a little bit and just have some fun. I think what we might try to do is have you really control the prompts and getting into Firefly, and I am such a noob when it comes to anything Photoshop Firefly related, so maybe we can I'll try some different prompts as well.
That sounds perfect. Okay. So let's first start with what I showed yesterday during the keynote, and we'll just do this quickly. Hopefully I don't say the exact words that I said in the keynote. It's so rehearsed that now I can't unsee it. But so I have these two images from Adobe stock, and let's just blend these together. Now you saw me do this yesterday, but I made this selection big here because I want to be able to tell Generative Fill that I want enough from the top image and enough from the bottom image. This is super important when you're blending, because if you don't do this, you're not going to get enough of the pixels from both images. You end up just getting kind of this little strip, and you don't get as beautiful as a blend. So kicking us off with blending right away. I mean, this is really incredible stuff. Like
it's always, every time I look at it, I'm like, it looks slightly different, but still
it's
perfect.
Always different. One time I got an insane waterfall. It was so cool. This one's really good.
That's actually a good point too. We were talking about that earlier, like the little tips and tricks inside using Generative Fill and Generative Expand, and just like how to properly use these tools, because by just a different selection, you get a completely different result, right?
Yeah, so even like just in doing this, just by changing the selection, like just in the tiny tweaks that I've made between the keynote and everything, I'm still getting different selections every time, but this kind of helps you control it a little bit more. So let's see. Now let's add the fox. I'm like watching the chat too as if I'm hosting.
Hey, well, we're both here together. Hello, Robert. Hello, Monica and Wade and Frank and the whole gang is here. It's a wonderful party to wrap up here today at Max.
I'm so excited. I
can't believe like we're standing next to each other in this way too. It's so funny.
At Max.
Like we're here at Max.
It's so surreal.
It's amazing.
Okay, so saw me do this yesterday again. If you didn't, this is really handy to have the contextual taskbar right here. We'll remove that background. And then you can also go into select and mask. So that's really helpful if you want to refine the hair and clean this all up. That contextual taskbar is going to be your best friend in Photoshop. It saves so much time. But I just like to kind of feather this out right here. That's really helpful as well. Especially in this case, if we're doing it quickly, we want to just blend something in, that feathering is really powerful. So then yesterday I added in a butterfly here. We'll just make this selection.
Gotta have his buddy.
I know, he has to have a friend.
Fox
He
has
can't
to have
be
his
alone.
buddy. Yeah, a fox alone in the woods is just not okay.
I mean, they're kind of like loners, they like
are.
being alone. So as we were going through the keynote, every time I'd get these different butterflies, they were always looking unique every time.
Yeah.
But then we ended up with like some funky 3-winged ones. But I found that, okay, see,
Ooh,
like we got a 3-winged butterfly.
Here it is.
Again,
I didn't even notice it was 3-winged, but it looks good.
Yeah.
That one's good.
Jason Levine's standing over here. He would laugh so hard at the 3-winged butterfly.
Well,
no, this second one's really good. That one's weird too.
Yeah.
But if you don't like the things that you get in generative fill, just click that generate button again. And don't forget that you have a layer mask on these. You can always go in and like make something bigger and then layer mask it out.
Right.
So that's really helpful too.
I think one of the cool things too,
Yeah,
like
these are getting worse.
They're like, well, they're that little different. The 3-wing man, just I don't know. I might have to go with that one.
I think that second one is
second
probably
one is
the
really,
best.
really good.
Yeah. So then yesterday, where is my tool? Yesterday I added a radial gradient.
Words are hard this late in the day.
I know. So
We'll get there.
let's come in and change the color here. Let's just go down. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, that tool is crazy powerful.
Yeah, so this is fully editable. It's like an absolute game changer. It's amazing for doing lighting and all these different effects. So you can make it bigger, smaller, change the color, add different points if you want to. Let's just change this to screen so you can really see that lighting. Get off of there. Point, we don't want you. We just want this one. And then let's just make that a little bit smaller. Yeah.
It's incredible how just that alone like makes this pop so much. It looks
I know.
Beautiful.
And it really helps it blend in.
Yeah.
So then we added some water. So with water, I have been playing around a lot with just doing a big selection or actually making the shape of the water. And it seems like both work pretty well. So you can kind of experiment with this. This is live stream. We can play on
We're
here.
Trying.
So let's do something a little bit different rather than yesterday. I just did a big rectangular marquee. Maybe we do both.
You want to try? Yeah, I was actually wondering too, like if there's, because you've been experimenting with this so much, definitely so much more than I have, it's interesting to see whether like a square marquee selection would be better.
I was just going to type water with generative
Yeah.
fill.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
Or maybe like the lasso tool or something like that.
Yeah.
A lot going on here right now.
I
You're
know.
like,
I'm like,
what's
oh
happening?
my God, this is so difficult for me. I'm like struggling.
I can see you're like, all right, stay focused, stay right here.
I'm supposed to be talking.
I'm like waiting.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that looks cool.
Yeah. So this is really incredible. Like just with look at that one. That
looks
one's
really
awesome.
good.
Like look at those ripples in there. So
even the perspective looks
yeah,
accurate,
it's so good. And just with doing the rectangular marquee, that worked really well. So let's turn that off and then let's do like a different shape and see if this changes anything. Again, we're live and this is scary.
Yeah, it's always scary. Have you noticed though at this point in doing this many iterations, for doing the demo and doing it in your own work, that there is a specific, if you use if you select a smaller area, I think you might have mentioned it yesterday,
yeah.
It's more accurate or it gives you better results?
It really depends on what you're trying to create. So sometimes I like to actually be specific with, like this is super cool.
Okay.
Oh,
hello. We're
okay, we are switching networks.
We're gonna just switch over a little bit, maybe get some quicker results. Yeah, for those that are watching at home right now, give us your questions. Throw us your questions. How do we look up here? We look all right? With the Photoshop earrings, if you guys want
yours?
some, I don't have. Oh, I actually.
Good.
Should I put them in?
No.
No, I should not.
Okay. Yeah, so we're back, we're good to go. Let us know if you do have any questions throughout this process. I know the generative fill and Firefly stuff is like a lot, and there's some little different techniques that you can do to get this to work to your liking.
Yeah.
So give us those questions. Okay, so look at how in doing the selection here, this is where you can really see it. In changing the shape of the selection,
Whoa.
I got a different shaped
Oh,
pond.
that's cool.
Look at that one,
Yeah.
that's cool.
That second one is really, really good.
I really like the second one a lot.
It's kind of crazy too how much of that reflection, like the lighting gets carried into that reflection as
Yes.
well. You know, it's not
Yeah.
just an awkward reflection.
So that's a pro tip too. Writing water with reflection, telling it exactly what you want to do is really important because then it knows the word reflection.
Okay. Yeah.
If you just write water, it will also reflect, but sometimes you get like a little bit more of a pool. We could try that too, but I
Sure.
do want to get into some other things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes it will do like a blue pool sometimes, which is
Weird.
really weird,
Weird.
or like a stream,
Yeah.
or not quite like, I wanted a reflecting pool.
Right.
So look at how with the rectangular marquee, we got a square pool like straight across. This one does add a little bit more interest, which is cool. So rather than adding the adjustment preset first, as I did yesterday, let's expand this using Generative Expand, and let's see how this plays around with the water, and then we can do...
Little Firefly.
Yeah, we'll get into a little Firefly. So with Generative Expand, you probably heard this again, forgive me for repeating, but it's looking at all of the things that you've created in your image, and it's taking a look at the image as a whole rather than just a short section of pixels. So it's really powerful because it can expand on any image that you create. Yeah,
Oh
like
my
that
God.
is
That's
awesome.
really cool.
That's
That looks awesome.
That's really good, and it's cool because it's different than what we did yesterday
Yeah.
in the keynote.
Yeah.
And look at how, okay, so let's see, which one do we like best here? I mean, that
I
first
really
one.
like that first one. I think it just looks, and because of the shape of that reflection there, I mean, it added that perfect little curve there.
Yeah.
It still blows my mind. I'm sure it blows your mind too. And again, like for those that are watching and are following along, I don't think there's like Firefly fatigue because again, every single time you do it, it's different, even though it's still similar, you know?
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and this is really cool because look, so if I turn this off, turn it back on, look at how it extended that water in the shape that I was creating in. So, I mean, that's really powerful because yesterday what we saw in the keynote is when I expanded it, because I just did that straight selection, it just extended it straight.
Right.
But it understands here that I'm working at a curve and I want the water to stay at a curve. I think that's super cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, cool.
Let's see, is there a way to use Firefly Image 2 directly from Photoshop yet?
Not yet, but possibly soon.
Yeah, okay.
We'll see.
Yeah, that might be coming. Who knows?
Might be coming. Yeah, so I mean, this looks great. Also, I noticed that sometimes if you're doing the gradient and you have it lower, you can move it up.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so let's adjust this gradient. Let's go back here.
This is exciting for me for two reasons. One, because again, I'm not really a Photoshop guy. I admire Photoshop wizards like you.
Yeah.
And the fact that I get to stand up here with my wife is pretty exciting as well.
I know, it is awesome.
I'm like talking to you
very
like-
comfortable. I'm just
Yeah,
like,
hello.
we're hanging out.
I feel like you're in our living room right
What's
now.
kind of cool here, so I moved the gradient up, but
Yeah, except that the butterfly is the size of the wolf's head. Yes,
Yeah.
the butterfly is.
no, see, that's exactly what Paul Tranny was saying too, and I said, Paul, this is a magical fantasy world.
Yeah.
So that is very true. However, this is fantasy.
We're
so
we're
I like
making a
the
fantasy
idea
world.
of giant butterflies.
Okay,
But
one more question
Yeah.
before you get in there. I think this is a good one from Wade here, which you probably have more information on. Are there restrictions with using generative AI in commercial projects right now?
So it is safe for commercial use
Okay,
right now. Yes.
Great. Very good to know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Check on the website though for all the terms
Yeah.
and conditions. I don't
Terms
wanna
and
get in
conditions
trouble.
apply.
I'm
Blah,
not
blah,
a
blah.
lawyer.
Yeah.
Don't come to me for legal advice.
Please don't. Okay,
Okay,
continue.
so now also in Photoshop Beta, so I'm just in Photoshop 2024, but in Beta, you can add your own adjustment presets, which is extremely powerful. Right now, just in 2024, we only have all of the different options that Photoshop gives us. And while there are a lot here, I think it's really incredible to be able to add your own. So check that out in beta. If you haven't done it yet, it's extremely helpful. So
and you had mentioned yesterday too, and this is what you showed in the keynote, that you can create your own adjustment presets as well, right? And load those in.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah. No, well, I thought these were the ones that were already in.
These are, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, you know.
Too tired.
It's okay. I forgive you. I was like, yeah, I just said
that.
I
just said that. What are you doing? Go back to sleep.
Okay,
James.
anyway, so, all right, how are we doing with time?
We're good on time. Yeah.
Cool.
We got some time to play around here.
Okay, so let me know if anybody wants to see those custom adjustment presets. I can hop into beta, but we can also move into some Firefly stuff.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Okay, chat question. Sorry, I'm itchy right now.
All right, so could we see the water reflection generative fill effect in an urban photo with people involved?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So
let's see how that is.
See. Let's go to stock, and let's type in city, street with people. Also, pro tip: you can always change this to free.
Yeah,
so whoops. Let's change that to free. We're going off on a tangent here.
We're going a little rogue, but that's what's nice about Adobe Live.
Let's
see. The questions from you guys in the chat is super helpful too. Ooh, that actually. What about the crosswalk there?
This
and
one?
You almost
Although it's kind of like blurred.
Maybe we find something that's not blurred there.
What about like
something that still would be somewhat realistic?
There's no feet on that. We could expand it down. I just want to kind of do this quickly.
What about the...
Want to do that one?
That's kind of cool. Yeah, this is pretty much just us on the couch at home going through Adobe stock. What's this?
I know.
How do I get my inspiration? And I guess a question, I have a question for you. I mean, if no one's going to ask this in the chat, I will. Like, how do you get your inspiration? Do you find that before Firefly and even now with Firefly, like where is your biggest source of inspiration come from?
I would say it comes from, so many different places. I would say from the community, like everything that everyone creates, like I'm always inspired by that.
Yeah.
But also like for me personally, my inspiration for my work comes from nature and from dreams, from just like being outside in nature, outside world.
Outside world, outside of a convention center.
Outside world, yes. Okay, so let's see here.
Okay, so these are all questions coming in from the chat. I'm gonna just sort of funnel them to you as you continue to go here. Let's see. Okay, so Firefly Image 2 model has 4x resolution. Does that mean 4,000 by 4,000 selections are now acceptable instead of 1,000 by 1,000?
Firefly, I am not sure about that.
Okay.
I'll have to check.
We'll check on that one. Yeah, I can't answer that one. But keep them coming again. Keep these questions rolling. We got about 30.
All right, look at that. Look at that.
Oh, that's actually really good.
So yes, you can do it in any environment. I mean, this is a little rippled, maybe a little too stylized, but...
What if you wrote like puddle or something?
Yeah, let's see. Let's try that. Okay, let me delete this.
Yeah, that actually is pretty good too, because...
I mean, it's amazing. Like any image you use, you can do this water technique. And it really is so powerful. Because then you can tweak it to your liking. Like you don't have to go with things that are straight out of AI,
right.
Or Firefly, generative fill, wherever it's coming from. You don't have to use that. You can tweak it then. Like use it as your starting point. Use it as a tool. Look
Whoa,
at
that. That's actually really good. Whoa.
That
the
one's
second
like
one's
not
weird with
lined
that
up.
line.
Look at that.
That's pretty good.
That's crazy. That's cool because it looks like it's in that setting and it just like.
Right. What's kind of cool about this too is you can start to. You could almost like add like a pothole, or you could add something else to make it to sell that scene more if that's what you're going for.
Yeah,
really
exactly.
Cool. We have another question in here, Gabriella. Will tutorials be available for all different features? My assumption is yes, in some capacity. There again are resources here on Adobe Live that you can follow along on, and there's a lot of other creators that I'm sure will be providing some tips. And then one other question, and I'm going to let you continue to go here, Anna.
I want to show something that's
Yes.
pretty cool.
It's
too.
possible to create seeds from the created. Is it possible to create seeds from the created prompts in Photoshop or in any Adobe program using AI?
I'm not quite sure.
I'm not quite sure what that question means. Maybe we'll come back to that if we
Yeah.
have some time. Okay. Continue. Getting distracted in the
I
background over here.
Okay, I want to possibly show another file, but I don't want to dig through all my files because it might kind of help solve some of the questions.
Cool.
But we'll do that after we switch to your screen.
Great.
Also, so sorry. I have fuzzies from my sweater tickling
Are
my
they
face.
tickling your nose? So if you sneeze, we know where it's
Yeah.
coming from. You're not allergic to me.
Yeah. So we can go over some more of the basics of generative fill and generative expand if you all want. Please let us know in the chat. But if no one says anything, I'm going to hop into a little bit of Firefly.
Yeah.
I know we're actually like already almost at halfway.
This is going by very fast.
I know.
But it's also kind of fun. Like we can.
Yeah.
Should I go get you a tissue? and come
No,
back?
I'm okay. It's so tickly.
Cool. Yeah, I'll keep you in check. We got 30 minutes left, so we can go into Firefly.
All right. Oh my God. So sorry, everyone.
It's okay.
Okay. So this was my mood board for this project. And again, if you saw the keynote yesterday, we talked a lot. Ashley and I talked about mood boards and sketching and how I use Firefly for ideation. And I think this is super key for any artist, designer, photographer, whatever you do creatively. Like Firefly can come in handy with that. And even if you're a little timid about AI, I think this is a perfect place to use it within your workflow if you want to test it out, but you don't want to actually use it in the images that you create.
Sure.
Or even if you do. So that's why I wanted to work this in, because we can use it as a composite as well. So
Cool.
This is from Firefly 1. I started going into the idea of like a house on a lake, and then I started playing with like, what if it had an underwater scene or it was a houseboat?
So cool.
And then I got this right here, which zoom in. I thought was so cool. And this is from Firefly 1, so it's still early stages. But I mean, this is awesome. Like, I love this. Thank you. Got some water.
There we go. Yeah, that could be the thumbnail of this whole video. Like, that is just so cool.
It's so cool, and even though it's not like perfect and not like finalized, I think it sparks something in me. It's like really imaginative.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And is it kelp? Is it tentacles? Is it roots? So this sparked a whole idea of what I could do. So let's hop over to Firefly, and we'll start to put in some of these prompts. Okay.
I think as you're putting these prompts into, like, again, going back to the imaginative part and the imagination of all of this, it's definitely inspired me, even, like, who's not really a Photoshop user, but still is a photographer and loves the photography side of things, to just, like, push it as much as you can and think outside the box to spark some of this creativity, which is so cool.
Absolutely. So I had a question yesterday from someone about how to get the exact look that you desire within Firefly, and they told me that they were having some difficulty with it. So I wanted to go over that today with some pro tips. So based on the mood board that you just saw, I put in cabin covered in moss with lit up windows on a mountain lake. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. And I mean, look at this. This is Firefly 2. It's so good.
It
The
really
work
is.
that they've done in the past few weeks is amazing. I mean, this looks like a photo.
And so you have photo, not art selector right now, and it really looks incredible. Like, I mean, that looks like somewhere based on Banff or somewhere, in like British Columbia, anywhere. It looks beautiful.
Yeah. So now let's just switch that to art and generate. You can see here we have aspect ratio, we have landscape, portrait, square, widescreen. So choosing these based on what you're creating is critical. And then we'll get into some of the other parameters. You can also have it set to auto. Look at changing it to art,
That's so
what
cool.
it does to this style. Look at it,
It's
so cute. I'm obsessed.
It's so good
I'm
too.
obsessed.
Look at the colors. They're
I know.
beautiful.
So you can download this by clicking right here. You can also edit in Adobe Express, save to your libraries. That's super convenient. If you save it to your libraries, it will come into your Photoshop or Illustrator, wherever you're working. I personally have just always been a old school dog and just download.
An old school dog. Download folder for days, or desktop litter everywhere.
Yes. So Adobe is trying to do a really good job of keeping transparency in AI. So you can see that we have this promoting transparency, making sure content credentials are applied on everything, and that it will show that this was made with Firefly, and making sure that you're not using any images that you're not supposed to be using.
Should we just move to one of these houses? I would be fine with any of them.
I would totally live here. So again, if you saw yesterday in the keynote, Kelly demonstrated this, and this is super powerful with some match and style, strength, visual intensity. So we can get into that in a few minutes. I don't know if we're gonna still have time to hop over to your screen if you wanted to do that, or
let's stick on yours for now, and then maybe we can, depending, maybe like the last 10 minutes if we want. It's kind of cool. Like I was thinking of maybe putting in very similar prompts and trying just alternate styles to see like which styles perform differently and give us, some interesting stuff.
That is a great question from the chat.
Can you just repeat the question?
Can I access Firefly 1 and Firefly 2? Yes, this is a great question. It was a concern I had as well, because I do still love Firefly 1 for its imaginative ideas, and let's do that right here. Still my keynote.
I know the keynote.
Right here
I'm like,
in the
there she is.
contextual taskbar. Right here, you can click Firefly 1 and confirm, and then let's regenerate this, and let's compare how these look.
Oh, cool. I'm gonna follow along and do this as well. We may not switch the screens, but just to see the difference again. I can hear us on the screen behind us too.
Oh yeah,
That's
I
us.
just noticed that.
Our
Look how
voices
cool
are
this is.
Ooh,
like,
that's cool.
You get such different, similar but different looks. They have, this actually is a little darker and more moody. I like this too. You gotta download that, save all these. Okay, don't show this again, I got it.
We know.
We know.
Seeds
Okay.
as in games, then you generate worlds, seeds. Man,
You mean seeds?
I don't know if I'm
I don't know what that means.
I'm not sure what that means, Robert. I'm sorry. Seeds as in games, then you generate worlds. Possible to create worlds from the creative prompts.
For gaming, maybe? Okay.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Sorry.
So let's switch back to Firefly 2, but yes, you can switch back and forth between the two of them. I end up using Firefly 1 for when I'm doing like really weird things. Like yesterday in the super session, I did a sea anemone flower, and Firefly 1 had some really, really awesome stuff for that. So look at all these different effects that Adobe gives us. These are all incredible. I want to, let's see, what do I want to do with this? Let's do some surrealism.
It's kind of fun that we just get to play around, because you could literally do, like yesterday in the super session, I felt like you could have done this for an hour.
Oh my God, I know. It's so much fun, and like the changes they've made. Then let's do something crazy. So I'm just adding a few parameters here, and this is how you're going to get the exact look that you're going for. Look at how many effects there are here. Like we have bold lines, we have inking, and we can change that in a few minutes, and then you can. Okay, so that's still kind of very similar, but just in putting in hyper realistic. So this is in the art style and not in photo style. But in having it in the art style, that's how you get a little bit more whimsical, a little bit more dreamy. Now let's see if we change this and put in ink. What happens if we have ink mixed with these other styles here?
I think for you, it's really interesting too to see using the art tab, but then like making it as realistic as you can, because it definitely speaks to your style a little bit more than like the photorealism does, you know?
Okay, so I think it's kind of getting like too many prompts here, because I put in ink and it didn't change it. So let's see if we get rid of surrealism, hyper realistic. I'm trying some of these out for the first time too. I mean, I played around with it a lot, but I also haven't done everything on here, so.
I'm playing around with it too now. I'll see you guys later. I'm gonna just dive into.
Oh, that looks cool.
Mine's kind of sweet.
Okay, now look at this. So ink, in this case, gave us this gorgeous watercolor.
Whoa. Ooh, I love that.
That's awesome. I love that.
Ooh, that's
Download.
really cool.
Download.
Yeah. Download. It's going everywhere.
So you can also save these to your favorites. So you can make a whole collection of things that you like, or you can go into edit, and then you can use this as, you can put it right into generative fill, or you can generative fill with it, or you can show similar. You can use as a style reference. Like, look at, remove background. These are all really powerful. I don't want to get into these too much.
Okay.
We'll spend I'll get way too off track. But play around with these. We could maybe do some show similar in a few minutes here.
The quick question about the like the save or like the heart button. I know you had mentioned this earlier. So what does that actually do? Like, does it save it to a library? Does it save it somewhere else? Like, can you explain that?
Yeah, so that's saving it into your library.
Okay.
So you have your own account within Adobe, and then it's going to save all of that. I think if you save it, then you can show view favorites here. So
Ooh, cool.
Here's all of my things that I favorited. Here's the fox from the keynote and ideating on that.
Can you tell you have a style?
Yes, I know. I'm so bad I can't stray away from it.
No, but it's amazing. It's like I would look at that and just be like, immediately I know exactly who favorited those ones.
I know, that's really actually cool to see.
Yeah.
Okay, so we won't spend too much time on these effects, but like, look at how much this goes. How much this goes?
How
much this goes?
How many? How far?
How far? But you also have watercolor here, so let's just remove that. We'll keep the art. All of these different styles. Still going, still going, still going. You have fur.
Whoa, let's try. Why don't
Marble.
we try?
Ooh. Let's do made of metal or fur or marble.
Here, why don't I maybe I should do some.
Yeah, you should do
since there's so many options. You give me the same prompt. Am I already in the same prompt here? Cabin covered in moss with lit up windows on a mountain lake?
Yeah, we got your screen.
Oh, that's cool.
We got a half and half.
Oh, we got a little splitsy.
Cool, okay.
Love that. Okay.
Yes.
This is a competition now.
I know.
Husband and wife competition. I'm ready for it.
Okay, I love this watercolor. This watercolor is so great.
Okay, I'm going to clear my styles.
Oh, you disappeared.
I disappeared.
Now it's fully you.
Oh, it's fully me. Oh, boy.
So I'll generate some things over here.
Okay. I'm just going to click a couple. Chiaroscuro, some paint splattering. There is zero consciousness of what I'm doing. I'm just trying a couple things, and I'm going to generate those and see what the difference is. Again, it is really cool for someone, like I feel for me, the power in Firefly, like that looks very weird.
What'd you put in?
Chiaroscuro, paint splattering, and light painting. So I think that's, sometimes this is like experiment and trial and error when maybe you put something in and it's almost too much where it breaks it or something, or
and
it confuses it.
Yeah, it's like if you have too many different styles, then you're going to end up with something that doesn't quite work. Okay, so we're back to my screen. Let's just go quickly into this match. You can upload your own that you have the rights to use, but all of these different options here that Adobe puts in for us are really cool. I just put kind of like this 3D world in. Let's see what that does. Take a little rest.
Now we wait. Now we wait.
Look at that!
Whoa, that's sweet.
That's awesome.
Wait, so what? That's just art?
No, so this is the match gallery that Adobe puts in here for us.
Okay.
So you can upload your own image, or you can put in match, and this is all new in Firefly 2.
That's sick.
It's so good. And these are all the choices that, or different options that we have put in here for us. And I mean, look at that, like
that
little
really
3D
cool,
world. So
yeah.
this is again really powerful if you need to get a certain style and a certain look. So they're all categorized. You have your 3D, you have your graphic, digital illustration, neon, landscapes, dramatic painting. Photo studio, photo manipulation, lighting effects. It's like when Bubba Gump and he's like coconut shrimp.
Whatever, it goes on and on.
It's like 3 days later, still talking about the same thing. Look at
that's crazy.
This is
that's
so cool.
Wild. Like, it's kind of like it's almost like a thermal camera view or something like that.
It's like, I want to frame that.
You know what's kind of like one thing I was thinking about? I don't know do you remember Kid Pics?
Yeah.
Remember like early days? I don't know if that's dating ourselves or where we're at, but like Kid Pics was so fun. I remember just like smashing buttons and clicking different things.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like what Firefly has done is in a way it's like reignited, at least for me, like some of that inspiration and that imagination as a kid again.
Definitely.
And you can use it to do what we're doing here today, or you can use it in pitch decks, you can use it for whatever, a number of different things.
Yeah, so look at this one. I just put in one of these geometric shapes, and it's like still keeping this house on a lake in the mountains, but putting in this amazing
That's so
style.
Cool. That is so cool.
That is unbelievable. Okay, so I'm just gonna remove that, regenerate, and it caches them too. So if you're removing things, it's gonna take you back to your previous style. And now I want to talk. Let's see,
We got about 20 minutes.
Okay.
A little less than 20 minutes.
So briefly with prompting, I just want to go over a few things here. Your prompt, there's like a craft to your prompt, but I have found with Firefly, out of all of the other AI programs, like you don't have to be as crafty with your prompt. Like it's a little easier because of these styles, thankfully. One thing I didn't show is we have down here at the very bottom, color and tone, lighting, composition. So we can go into composition and we can do...
It looks like I tried a couple here. I tried a vibrant color and a dramatic light.
What happens if we do close-up on this? Also, we have advanced settings, which is new. So now we can put in things to exclude from the image. So don't forget about that. If you make something, you're like, wow, I love that, but I don't want this to have... I wonder if I put no mountains, what would it do? Okay, so this zoomed it in a little bit.
That's cool.
Ooh, I like that.
This one on the left is sweet.
Yeah.
Like I can like see the wheels turning. You're like, all right, guys, I'm not on Adobe. I like
what
this.
Am I gonna
See you
make?
later. I'm gonna go edit for a while.
So back to the prompt. Already got distracted.
Back to the matter at hand.
Okay. So sometimes if you put in certain keywords, I was noticing this a lot in Firefly 1. We'll see how it is in Firefly 2, but like certain whimsical words, certain like descriptive words will change it. So let's see, cabin, cover. What if so I end up using magical and cosmic. Cabin, covered.
Ooh, cosmic.
Let's see what happens.
We need
here.
to trademark those words for Anna McNaught.
I know.
Cosmic.
Okay, Slay.
We're just getting our picture taken off here. So as this is loading, I do have a question for you. I mean, you mentioned this yesterday on stage when you were talking. Oh, whoa.
Look at this.
Whoa, ooh, I love this right one.
Oh!
This is so cute. They're all really cool, honestly.
This is so cute.
We're going to go move there now.
I have a problem. Like I could spend days on Firefly.
This is true. This is like no joke. Like we'll be on the couch at home and we'll like be on the computer. She's like, all right, like I'm almost ready for dinner. And then like 2 hours goes by. And it's just a million options.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you want to like do something? You want to hang out?
I
No.
know.
I'm in Firefly. Just leave me alone.
So look though how by putting the words magical and cosmic, it like changed the look of this. I mean, yes, it's still very similar to what we were working with, but now it kind of where are you from? Now it kind of has this dreamy nighttime look.
Right.
Okay, so I saw, can you use a lyric to a children's song as a prompt? I'm not sure,
Ooh.
Robert, you should definitely try that out.
That's a really cool idea though.
Probably depends on copyright, all that. You
sure.
might get an error back, but hey, try it. Okay,
try it out.
We don't have too much time left, so I wanted to go back to Photoshop, make sure we work on this a little bit. So, I need to actually grab a cabin. Let's see what we got here. What did we save? Which one do we like?
Oh, I mean, that one's so good.
That one's cool.
It's really,
or should I go with the one that I was originally going with?
What was the one you were going to go with to begin
The one that I made. We'll do both.
I'll
show the one that I made before.
That's
okay.
so cool.
This is awesome. Okay.
Think about how long that would have taken you to make previously.
I know. Let's actually. I'm thinking out loud here. Just stretching that. Okay, so I have my libraries here. Libraries are also super powerful for adding in stock images. If you put your Firefly images in here, maybe you create a whole library of just your Firefly stuff, so you always have that at your hands, which is, I think I'm gonna do that actually.
Yeah.
That's really good.
I know. Sometimes you have to just vocalize like what it is that you want to do.
I know.
These are not tips we use all the time, but we're going to.
Okay, so now I'm trying to decide which image I want, but I saved a bunch of stuff from Adobe stock. And my idea, as you guys saw with my mood board, was doing this like underwater scene. So let's. Oh no! I showed my. I showed my final.
But even like even though you planned it, it's gonna look vastly different.
True. Cool. Okay.
As you're doing this, I just want to throw a question in there. You can answer it however you want, and throughout this last 10, 12 minutes. But what's the most exciting part for you? I know Ashley asked you this yesterday on stage, but of Firefly and the potential of how you're going to continue to use it, in the future.
exactly how I'm doing it today. This is so beyond exciting for me to be able to just come up with these endless ideas and continue to change the style and to go and to start with one idea and then expand into, like I said yesterday, 50 ideas because it's so true. I get lost in these like holes of just continuing to generate. Oh my God, this gave me this idea. This gave me this idea. And then I end up with like a whole body of artwork from one afternoon.
Yeah, it's really, really cool.
Okay, so real quick here, as you're going through your libraries, I'm sure you've all seen this a lot, but you can add in all of your stock images and then you can just license right here in Photoshop. Hopefully that works. Oh, I cannot license it. Okay.
What would the reason be for that if that actually did happen?
That shouldn't happen to anyone. I don't know. It might be like an internet thing. I'm not sure what's going on. Normally, you should be able to license right here in Photoshop.
Okay.
Okay.
Could be a Wi-Fi issue right now.
Yeah. So this is not licensed yet. But if you're testing ideas out, that's okay to have it unlicensed just to see how this looks. Still has the watermark on it. But so I'm just like painting this in. We can also use the contextual taskbar if you want to just mask this layer out or do a certain selection. But you know, I always like to paint these areas out. I'm still a traditional artist by nature, love doing all of that stuff. So this was the idea that I was going for, kind of like rooted in nature, like the house is getting its energy from the earth. I thought that would be.
As do you.
As do
As
I.
do you. Like that was it. We brought it back full circle a little bit.
Okay, so let's see. Just want to like clean this up a little bit here. Kind of painting some of that moss back in. We might even be able to, you know, I wonder what would happen if we did like some steps going down here.
So this is one of those situations where, you know, that selection, right, is so important.
That's like such a weird
What
selection.
a weird selection. What kind of steps are you walking down? I'd be falling off those
You know,
left and
this
right.
house isn't normal, so I don't think I'm doing any normal steps. Let's see if we put steps.
Let's see what it is.
Sometimes in generative fill too, you want to be careful. I mean, not careful, but mindful of what you're putting into the prompt. Like if you're just putting steps, it might be like, well, what kind of steps? You might need to put like steps in a yard
like
with
a
railing.
Or
Look at that!
actually. Wait, what? That was surprisingly good. Like I don't think either of us expected that to
Like,
be
did
that
anyone
good.
see that?
Okay, goodbye. See ya. Wait, that second one. Maybe I can hear us behind. What if you added then, I don't know, something underneath the steps now that we have going to it?
What do you want to add?
Either some sort of like underwater sea creature,
Okay.
or just like a mermaid,
Okay.
maybe. Even though a mermaid really wouldn't be in there, but
Let's
we're having
try
fun with it.
You know, and then I want to expand this.
So we have about 10 minutes left. I'm just keeping you in check here.
Let's see what generative fill thinks a mermaid is. Mermaid.
Would it be a mermaid or a merman?
Unsure.
A mermaid or merman?
Okay, let's see.
That looks really cool. Those steps
That
like
looks
surprise
awesome.
both of us.
I'm super into that. I'm like, oh my god. Yeah, I could also do a better job of blending all this. You know, we could use generative fill on that.
What is that?
Oh, okay. No, okay. That's weird but cool because look at how it kind of was trying to figure out the perspective here.
Oh, yeah.
See that? Like it
Interesting.
kind
What are the other some of it's kind of funny, like
okay, all right.
okay,
That's getting
and we're
deleted.
we're
That's not
throwing
gonna
that
work.
one away.
You know, sometimes you just never know what you're
You
gonna
never
get.
know.
That's why you gotta
never
play
know.
with it. What are we time wise?
We got 9 minutes now.
So let's just see if we select this area. I'm gonna come from down here.
From
I'm
down
curious.
under.
I'm curious. I'm playing too.
Yeah, we're just having
Let's
a good
go
time.
from down here. We don't want to lose too much of that door. Let's just go to like there. And then leave the prompt blank. Again, doing that blend that we did very early on in the beginning of the stream.
So the blank prompt always is going to be.
It's gonna
like
either
blend it
remove
or
or it's gonna blend.
Okay.
But in this case, it should see it as a blending, but it might remove the steps. I'm curious.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Wait, can you go back?
Oh my god,
to see what it was
okay,
before?
so before, after. Look at how
That's
it integrated
really
those roots
good.
into the house. It kept the steps.
Oh, It made it almost feel like the root system.
Ooh, look at
That's
that
cool.
one with it
Yeah,
like
yeah.
coming
Ooh, yeah,
down.
And even wait, turn that on and off again.
Look at this. It reflected this top mountain.
Wow.
Like this is I'm my reactions are
Yeah,
real.
they're very
this is
genuine.
all live. But this is super cool. I mean, it's looking above the selection that I made to understand the image as a whole, and this is getting better and better every single day.
Man.
That's incredible.
It's gonna be sad when we
But
can't
this
find
is
this
this is so good.
That one's really, really good. Yeah.
Now let's expand this. Okay, so you want to make sure if you're doing generative expand, you can switch back and forth between a regular crop, generative expand, and content aware fill. So let's just do generative expand, holding option to expand on both sides here. Let's see what we get with like the stock image being in the way. Yesterday when I did this in the super session with some other stuff in the background, it still expanded it. So that's good to know.
Because that was what you're saying, right? Like it doesn't
like
really matter.
will it get in the way or will it blend it in? Look, okay, see, so that's really important here. Look,
that's crazy.
That's so
That's
good.
crazy. These look like little like morel mushrooms under the water.
Ooh, they do. Okay, so this is still linked to our library. So again, for whatever reason, couldn't license that, but you can play around with it, make sure it's what you want, and then go ahead and license it.
Awesome. Another question from the chat as we sort of get close to winding down here. Whoa, little fly in front of my face. If you use match style with your own artwork, does Firefly use your work for the learning model?
No, it does not.
Okay.
It's not going to learn from that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so you're good.
Yeah, Bruce is into it. I agree. Very impressive. Super impressive,
it does
honestly.
Look like a morel.
It does. It's a morel mushroom down there.
I'm so...
Ooh, this is cool.
I'm so in love with this. I'm going to make something from this for sure.
Yeah.
Like, this is really cool. And then this was the one I made before the stream.
I actually like the one you're doing now.
I know. I like the new one. But I still like this
Yeah.
cabin and kind of the misty look. We could also add in... I don't know. What else do we want to add in? You know, it
Let's
doesn't
see.
seem like...
What if you add? I mean, I'm a big sucker for a good little canoe or a boat or something in the background.
Let's
Maybe
add
we
a boat.
add the selection and see.
And so I know we talked about the selections being very important, but sometimes you can just make a big rectangular selection and then see kind of how it generates.
Right.
That's usually what I do to test stuff out first, and then I'll go back and refine.
Gotcha.
But I'm just
What are you
typing.
doing over there?
I'm just typing, thinking Generative Phil's going to see
Generative Phil can read your mind.
It's been a long few days.
It's been a very long couple days. Another question in the chat. Wade, thank you for sending these in. How do we know when we must attribute credit to other artists? Only when using images or reference?
So you should not be uploading other artists and other people's images to Firefly. You should only use images that you have the rights to. And it makes you like check a box, yes, I have the rights to use this.
Yeah. Wow, that's a weird boat for that
Yeah,
environment.
I know. That doesn't quite fit our scene here.
It's like a tugboat the size of the whole thing. But still cool.
What if we do a kayak? Let's try that.
Let's try a kayak. Yeah, I'm like, what are words right now?
I know, I'm so tired.
Very, very cool though.
Let's see. Yeah, and we did a lot of AI in here, obviously, because this was to learn about Firefly and everything. But you can piece all your stuff together. So let's say, oh, that looks really
cool. That's more
cool.
along the lines of what I thought would look sweet.
I like that. So you can, let's say you do a little bit of Firefly, using things to comp in. So if I was building this whole scene out from scratch and not doing it live, I would probably take this cabin and cut it out, comp it into a scene of maybe a stock image in the background, maybe generate it, maybe Firefly. Then we have the stock for the roots, so combining things. Maybe I do a painting from scratch. Maybe it's a photo I took.
Yeah.
Putting all these things together to bring the image to life.
Yeah. Again, I think that's...
Bruce said, how about a rowboat?
Oh yeah, we could try a rowboat. Yeah, I think again, like that point, we've heard it a lot. I don't know, I'm sure it's been said here on Adobe Live, but again, like the keynote yesterday, the super session, everyone that's been talking about Firefly, and just how it's going to continue to change and evolve people's workflow and what it's great for. It's really useful for so many different things. I may use it for storyboarding video, in a way, which I am the worst artist in terms of sketching.
Yeah, I
which
mean,
you know.
that's hey, you're not too bad.
I'm not great, but I'm not you.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great use case
Yeah.
for someone who's a video person, like using Firefly, putting it in sketch mode and planning out some ideas. Here's a rowboat.
Ooh, the rowboat looks good. That was a great suggestion.
That's really nice because it looks,
cool.
it kind of like puts it in the distance, doesn't have as much hierarchy.
I like this a lot.
I like this a lot
really,
too.
really
It's coming
cool.
together really nicely. Now from here, normally I would just like fully refine this and spend a lot of time like blending things and then putting in my own images because I like it to be this fully like created piece. But this is just to show how much you can combine these different elements in Firefly and Generative Fill and Photoshop and bring them into something that's uniquely yours and not just made by AI.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been so exciting to see. Again, like I was playing around with it right before the stream, but it's so fun watching you play around with it too because although it is AI, like you just said, it's uniquely yours. It's coming out of your brain, like your imagination. It's unique to whatever you want to make. And I think that's the coolest part about just what Adobe's done with Firefly and what they're continuing to do and continuing to iterate on. And even just looking at this from here, it looks sweet.
I know,
I think
like
we're both
looking at it on
yeah.
the screen in front of us, it's really cool.
All right, last question, and then I think we probably got to wrap it up here. How do you credit an image like you've created using artwork from different sources? And I think that you mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, so again, like you shouldn't be, and let's see. Oh, we're out of time. Okay.
I think we got like 2 minutes. So
okay, 2 minutes. So it depends on how you're doing it. Like whether you can't just upload a picture that you don't have the rights to use into Firefly. You need to make sure you have the rights for it. But you will get content credentials in Photoshop, and you can turn that window on. Right under View Window, content credentials is there. Turn that on, and you can have all the credits built in.
Awesome.
Yes,
well,
learn more about content credentials.
Yes, right there in the chat. Thank you, Wade. Thank you, the gang, Robert, everyone in the chat. Thank you to you watching us here on Adobe Live.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anna, my beautiful wife, talented, amazing artist. This was
This
super
guy.
fun
This
to be
guy.
here. And I think this is the last Adobe Live stream of MAX 2023.
Really?
Pretty
It's
sure.
the last one? I wasn't sure if they
I'm
just
looking
meant
off
for
screen
today.
to just make.
Oh,
Okay, it is. So
we're wrapping it
very
up.
thrilled to be the last ones here to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Thank you again to those who have watched and joined us on Adobe MAX, Adobe Live. Please make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Instagram, Behance, all the socials, and I think that's about it. Thank you, everyone.
so much, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.